What's going on, people? Welcome to Villa Noir. This is JM here. Welcome to my match reaction after Aston Villa draw 1-1 to Nottingham Forest. Listen, I've got the shades on. So you know that means that man's on smoke. Yeah? You know that means man's on smoke. But today was the day I was meant to be on smoke. And the shades were meant to be on because today was meant to be a great day. Because yesterday I saw that them wastemen from North London in red go lose at home. And today was meant to be the day that Man City were meant to show the bottles started to come out. And that's what happened, you know. Man City did their thing. But I can't wear the shades today. You know why I can't wear the shades today? Because my team didn't take care of business. My team did not take care of the business that they were meant to take care of today. You know, yes, we drew away from home. A team fighting for their lives in the Premiership. So, of course, it's going to be dogged. Of course, it's going to be high octane. Of course, it's going to be rugged. Of course, it's not going to be straightforward. But I expected my team to win. I expected the boys to go out there and do what was necessary to widen the gap between us and Chelsea. And with Chelsea losing today, those 2 points that we don't have would have been beneficial. I think Chelsea are now 7 points behind us. Imagine if that was a 9-point gap, putting us back into third place. Then things would be good. I would feel much more confident going into the next few games. We've got some tough games. We've got Sunderland next week. You know what I'm saying? That's not going to be easy. It's at home, but it's not going to be easy. And I think because the manner in which we drew is what's frustrating. Villa, I saw Aston Villa today, yesterday, because obviously this is coming out on Monday. I saw Aston Villa start to play the football that's been missing for the last 2-3 months. I saw ball retention in the middle of the park. I saw balls being played from back to front in 3-4 passes, 1 touch, 2 touch. You know, it was sublime at points, some of the football that we're playing. But we undid it ourselves. Today was an example of what can happen when you're sloppy, even just for a moment. There's one thing I'm learning in life, that this life that we live is about small margins. And when I mean small margins, like this, it's the smallest things that lead to big things. It's the smallest things that can lead to catastrophic events. It's the smallest things that can lead to breakdown of relationships. It's the smallest things that can lead to you losing the lead away from home when you were in the ascendancy. Small margins. There was a moment in the game, and I'll get into like the other stuff in a bit. There was a moment in the game where after we'd scored the first goal, we're in the ascendancy, the ball's being played around with, you know, the guys, there's a pep in our step. And a chance goes through to Morgan Rogers and he hits the crossbar. It was a great effort. I'll be honest. It was a great effort. Hit the crossbar. Within 2 minutes, they'd equalised. And the same person that had just hit the crossbar had given the ball away 3 times in about 30 seconds, 30 seconds to a minute, which led to them putting pressure on us, which led to the goal. Small margins. 2 points. 2 points that could be critical if we don't take care of business next week at Sunderland. Next week at home to Sunderland, sorry. Small margins. And I think this is what I wish the players would get into their heads. It's not just a miss. It's not just a missed tackle. It's not just the ball given away. These are small margins which can lead to big events. You know, 2 chances that were clear cut, that you would expect Morgan Rogers and Ollie Watkins to put away. You know what? Actually, I can't even say I expect Ollie Watkins to put it away, because the form that he's been in for the last for the whole season says that he would miss that chance. But this is the same Ollie Watkins that bagged 2 goals the other day. I thought this is the same Ollie Watkins that was going to come back and show some verve and show some tenacity and show some ability to actually take his chances. Skied it. Morgan Rogers, 6 yards out, skied it. Small margins, guys. Small margins, but catastrophic, potentially catastrophic events. I saw Digne look out of sorts, but if I'm honest, bringing on Ian Maatson wouldn't have done anything better. we're struggling. Our fullbacks we're weak at the moment. You know, Matty Cash, you know, he nearly gave away an own goal. He got yellow carded within the first 15 minutes. And I was very scared that he would capitulate like he seems to do when he gets a yellow card. But he actually held up his end of the bargain. So yeah, I'm frustrated that we didn't get the points that we needed to. And we should have. You know, luckily, Chelsea messed up the bed today to Man City at home, which kept the points between us and them in sixth clear, 7 points. But Liverpool are only 2 points behind us now. No, 3 points behind us, sorry. They're a game behind us, and we have to play them at the end of the season. You know, all these things show up. Top 5 is a must. I don't want to have to just rely on the Europa League. I want us to get top 5. Before I do anything else, I do want to talk about the positives. I did allude to one of them earlier. I said, you know, that the movement and the passing at points was really good, especially in the first half, and we saw glimpses in the second half. I think that that centre-back pairing of Pau Torres and Victor Lindelof really does work in terms of progressing the ball forward. In the technical game that we're in now, you know, there is so much onus on the centre-backs to bring the ball or progress the ball forward through line-breaking passes. And unfortunately, when we have Mings on the field or if we have Konsa on the field, we know that's not going to happen because the likelihood of them passing the ball through the lines is very, very slim, which slows down our play. But what we saw today was 2 centre-backs that were willing to break the lines with the passes, one left-footed, one right-footed. And it really, really did work. Yes, was Power a little bit shaky in the air. You know, when Chris Wood came on, I was a bit worried because, yeah, you know, it could have been techie. But we managed. Which shows that Unai he's not as stubborn as we think he is because he's thinking about what's necessary for the game. That midfield three, Onana, Tielemans and Barkley, it was the best I've seen that midfield three work for a long time, for a minute. I think it's the best midfield three I've seen since we played Kamara, Onana and Tielemans in the 10 in terms of the fluidity and stuff. It was really good. Barkley had an amazing game. He's not as fast as he used to be, but I think he had a great game. I think John McGinn showed himself as to why he's such an important player to us. Just them two brothers, you know, Morgan. I can't get onto him too much because I think part of the reason why he is or where he's at is because he's tired. He's played pretty much every game. And I do think, and this might come back to haunt me, I do think that we probably shouldn't start him on Thursday, especially with the lead that we do have. I think we should give him a rest. If we need him, we'll bring him on. But just give him time to kind of just rest off, man. Do you know what I mean? Because it's been a hard slog. And we're seeing him make tired decisions. It's not the fact that he hasn't got the quality. You know, he has got the quality, but I think he's making tired decisions, or we're starting to see his tiredness become more apparent in the last few games. So give him a rest, man. That's what I would say. And Watkins, I just wish that he was more clinical. You know, you see his movement, and I think this is one thing I will say. When I know Tammy only gets a few moments on the pitch, but I don't see the same type of movement from Tammy that I see from Ollie. And Ollie's movement is really important, but he just makes some silly. He runs down blind. When he gets the ball, sometimes he runs down blind alleys, and he hasn't got the technical skill to be able to get himself out of that. But so yeah, it wasn't a perfect result. It wasn't a perfect performance, but we saw glimpses of us coming back to where we should be. I wonder if there's space for this Alisson kid to actually get some minutes in the Premier League in the next few weeks. We'll see what Unai's saying. Martinez, this is like the 3rd or 4th time this has happened during warm. What are they doing in the warm? That's why he keeps getting injured. Do you know what I mean? What's going on? But Marco B's up. I think he had a solid game. You know, I don't think he could have done much about that goal near post. You could question the fact he got beaten his near post, but it was a kind of like a snapshot. You don't expect him to shoot from that angle. Like, he was a brilliant goal for Nico Williams. Yeah, to be fair, the ball was kind of like behind him to generate that kind of power from that angle, that trajectory. You have to give it to him, and you know Marco Bizet was blinded by John McGinn as well. So can't really blame him too much on that. I feel like, you know, the next shot that Nico Williams did, he got down and saved it. That potential own goal by Matty Cash, amazing goalkeeping. So it's good to know that we've got a solid backup. But I still want to see Emi Martinez in goal. You know what I mean? So yeah, guys, you know what it is. As always, I haven't even said, you know, smash the like button. Make sure you're smashing that like button as you're coming in. Make sure you sub to the channel. I really want to get to 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible. So I would love for you to help me get there. And yeah, as always, it's football first and then consequences later. So obviously, I was hoping that I wouldn't have to go any more of the season with any more chili challenge or hot sauce business, because I really thought that we'd probably do well for the remainder of the season, especially with the games that we have ahead of us. And to be honest, that, you know, that first half before they scored their goal, I was really confident. Even in the second half, I was confident that, you know, we'd win and I wouldn't have to have a consequence. But, you know, I'm a man of my word. I'm a man that says I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And if this was mid-season, I'd probably call it a tier 1. A draw away from home is nothing to be sniffed at. But in the context of what's going on in the league, in the context of, you know, how much points are so pivotal right now, you know, I had a look at the gap between 6th and 14th is maybe 6 points. You know what I mean? Yeah, 6 points. And we don't want to get dragged into that. So in the midst of all of that, this is why this consequence can't be a tier 1. Yes, it was a draw. It wasn't a loss. But the context of everything that's going on, I have to give it a tier 2 consequence. And for that, I'm going to go to the second hottest spice, the red Savina. I've only seen this once before. I know it's spicy. I'm going to try and do it without any milk because I've been hotter and I've had to use milk. So I have to feel something. All right, so I have my hot wing. So there's already some spice on this. I'm just gonna add some more to it, and let's see how it goes. So yeah, it's a tier 2 consequence for Aston Villa, drawing with Nottingham Forest. Here goes nothing. Yo. It's a nice kick, you know. Very nice kick. It's manageable. More than manageable. Ooh. There it is. Yo, it's got heat to it still. Without anything to drink as well. I think there's already some spice on the chicken as well. It's just like compounding. But like the loss today, spice is there, the heat's there, but it's not overwhelming. And I just hope that Aston Villa can just bounce back from this. Let's go at home on Thursday. Let's smash it. Let's win the game. Let's get through to the semi-final of Europa League. Let's lock in for Sunday next week and we go again. So guys, listen, you know what it is. Make sure you're liking, subbing to this channel. I want to hear your comments. So make sure you comment in the comment section as well. Let me know what you think went well. Let me know what you think needs changing. And we move. But as always, stop the Villa. Peace.